Take you on for the ride, guys. Strap yourselves in. We're going to a no heat. So let's see. So we got alert 241. System is waiting and it's trying to heat. Okay, I'm gonna head down, folks. I'm gonna have a look at it and see what we got going, okay? All right, so Air 241. I'll be honest, I've never seen this one before. So I'm gonna reset it and see what happens. If you hold this diagnostic button down until you see that E and you let it go, it's going to spit out your error history. So there we are, 241. 241. 241. 207. 207's hot surface igniter sensed open. Then we got some pressure switch errors. This is what happens when guys don't clear the board. You keep your leftover errors on there. Every time you come out to a unit, you should always reset the error history on here. That way we know, since the last time we were here to the time we're arriving, that those errors are fresh. Nice little tip, makes life easier. And comment it on the sticker. Comment the errors you found, and then comment that you erased them. That way we know that the errors aren't 5 years old. Tell that to everyone. That's strange. That HSI came on quite quickly. It's like it thinks it's on, which is really weird. Blower is going, and I still have my Air 243 or 241. Huh. I'm gonna have to check my gas pressure. Thinking we might have a bad board here. It starts doing wonky stuff like this with your sequence of operation. You gotta question the board. That should be trying to relight itself. So it's calling again. Inducer motor's ramping up. I hear my pressure switch is closing. There's the high pressure switch. That HSI should kick on. Connection's tight. Huh, that's strange. Here comes the fan. Interesting. So I'm going to test. I want to see if I got voltage going to that valve, and I'm going to check my gas pressure. I'm going to need some more tools. I'll be right back. Okay. We have our gas valve here, our common, and our MV, yellow and orange, going to the Molex connection 8 and 7. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those are my 2 wires. I'm going to stick my probes in there and see what's going on. Alright, so I'm firing it up. I have my connections, my leads in there. I'm watching for voltage. I want to see if 24 volts is going to that valve. Couple things I'm thinking on this diagnostic. Either the board's messed up, or we have a bad gas valve, or we have no gas pressure. Now this is a modulating valve. You know, so typically on a normal valve you'd hear the solenoid click over. I hear nothing on this one. So HSI is lighting up. Let's check our voltage. And I had no voltage on there. Huh. Interesting. I think I'm gonna have to replace the board on this one. Let me go see what I got for them. Alright guys, I'm gonna check a couple things. This is the Lennox Pros app. Pretty handy. It's got a lot of stuff, you know, if you want documents, you want to look up your warranty, your parts, etc. So two things I'm gonna look up right now. I'm gonna check that error code lookup, because they do have a detailed error code lookup tool on here. Just for the hell of it, let's see what it is. I mean, to me it looks like a bad board. I'm not getting voltage to that valve. So we have code 241, flame out of sequence, still present, furnace, critical, how to troubleshoot, shut off gas, check gas valve for leaks, check for voltage to gas valve, replace gas valve if needed. Well, we saw I didn't get volts on there. So I'm gonna check the board now and see what board we need. All right, so I like to label my parts. I know that's an EL one. Jesus, it's a puzzle to get these things out. Jesus. Come on, baby. Need two hands for this. That box is totaled. 15M50. There she is. Alright, so we got the new board on. I left the low voltage off for now. I'm going to jump out the board first just to make sure we're okay. But everything looks like it's on there. Just double check, make sure we're not forgetting anything. But alright, let's jump this out and see what we got. Alright guys, got the new board in. Jumpered R2W1. Inducer ramped up, pressure switch is closing. HSI should be lighting up. Should start. We might have a bad gas valve. That's odd. Why am I not getting voltage to that gas valve? So we have incoming pressure, 8 inches supplying to it, so we know that they got gas. So, I mean, it seems to me like we have a bad gas valve at this point. I just don't know why I'm not picking up 24 going to it, which is really weird, and I swapped the board. Weird. So now it just decided to fire up with the new board. So we know our gas valve's good, but maybe there's a short somewhere on the wire. I'm getting my 24 volts now. Apparently there was a new guy here yesterday doing a tune-up. Gotta love these weird calls. This is so strange. So the unit didn't fire up. I was getting no voltage to the board, to the gas valve, even with the new one on. I've tried playing around with all the wires, and I mean, my next step would have been to replace the gas valve, but I mean, the gas valve's not going to work if it's not getting voltage, so I didn't want to leave and go get a gas valve, because, you know, I didn't want to waste that time. And now, all of a sudden, it's working. I'm still thinking the board's bad on this one. HSI is on. And then does this 243. But it just worked. We must have a short or something acting funny. Let's try this again. Alright guys, look at this. I knew it didn't make sense. There's a break in there. Let me see if that's the cause. I'm gonna tape that up real quick and then see what we got. Alright, fingers crossed. Wonky stuff. Definitely some wonky stuff. Alright, she's calling. I didn't know we had a maintenance tech here yesterday. Otherwise I would have checked all the wiring. God, that drives me crazy. You waste all this time and it's a nick in the flame sensor wire. We're good. Holy Jesus. That's all it was. There was a break in the wire. It was grounding itself. Alright, well, let's put the old board back on. But I think we're okay. Always check your wiring. I mean, that was enough to drive me crazy. Anyways, we got it figured out. Alright guys, so new guy yesterday, when you put this on, okay, you see the grooves for those wires, you gotta make sure they're in there. Otherwise, what happens is if they're not in that groove, and you put this on, you put that on, it's gonna nick the wire there. So you wanna make sure you're not nicking that wire. That little nick caused me some time today. So I'm gonna let the new guy know. So we're back up and running. That was an interesting one. Alright guys, well that was a fun one. So we'll just do a little recap. So when I got there, it was spitting out that code 241, and that was telling me flame sense out of sequence. That's the first time I've seen that error on that unit. Anyways, so like in the footage you saw, basically what happened was the unit would start up, pressure switch is closed, HSI would light, but immediately I noticed, hey, wait a minute, why is that HSI lighting so fast? It's usually a 20-second warm-up period, and it was quick. Gas valve would not ignite. No 24 volts being sent to the gas valve from the board. You saw me test that on the Mullix connection coming off the board. And then it would just spit out that code, but then it would act as if it was running in heating operation just without the flame. Never seen that before. So, you know, my first thought was, well, we got a bad board, right? No 24 being sent to the valve, pretty self-explanatory. Went to the van, got the new valve, our board, put it in, and the thing was doing the exact same thing, but no 24 going to the gas valve. So that error says to check the gas valve after that, but I did not want to be a parts changer and just say, okay, well, I got a bad gas valve, because it wasn't adding up. basically the valve would never get 24 volts. And I mean, without the 24 volts, what do you expect the valve to do? Nothing. So I hemmed and hawed testing and was wondering, like, okay, what's going on here? It wasn't until I went upstairs to grab my heating bag, because all I had was my cooling diagnostic bag. Wanted some extra tools. It wasn't until then that the customer told me that one of our techs were there yesterday. And when I heard that and found out it was running, I knew that, okay, something is out of the norm. If the tech was here yesterday, it's not working, I gotta check my wires. So I started playing around with all the wires, checking, just making sure all my connections were tight, etc. And then sure enough, the thing cycled once, lit. So I traced my thought back to, okay, well, what did I just touch? Well, I was playing with the HSI, I was playing near the flame sensor wire. So I inspected that, that's when I found the break. And that break happened because when you take that burner box off and you put that flame sensor wire in, there's a groove that is supposed to fit in there. The purpose of that groove is to prevent a break, right? If you squish the wire against the metal cover, it's gonna break. Well, that must have been causing some sort of grounding short issue that was throwing the board off. As soon as we fixed that, it was, you know, up and running. So if you ever come across that error, I mean 241, I've never seen it, but if you do, check your wires. And if your board's doing anything weird, always check your wires. But caused me a bit of grief there for a bit. So I'm on my way to, I think my last call. It's getting dark out. Well, not dark, but it looks like it's going to start raining any second. Got a no cool situation. I think it's like 6 years old. So we'll see what happens when I get there. We'll take you guys for the ride. Until then, see you soon.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here